Kissoon show. Bring it!
Let me ask you this question. I would like to ask the AG to propose legislation for what we call small claims court. There are lots of poor people, to an example you just gave, that they have issues with others and sometimes with large firms, but the lawyer fee is greater than the fee you're claiming.
It is
It is their right. Yes.
A right, the right that someone has. All our rights exist in context.
What is the context of a second medical opinion?
Because you disrespected the process.
No.
Jesus, this is common sense, man.
Any situation which you seem to do, you're just dealing with Afro-Guyanese issues. If one, you can't bring and pull the leaders of the African community together, you're failing. And if two, you can't put forward a vision, a blueprint, and a plan for African Guyanese, you're failing as well.
Welcome to the Freddie Kissoon show. Bring it!
Let me ask you this question. I would like to ask the AG to propose legislation for what we call small claims court. There are lots of poor people, to an example you just gave, that they have issues with others and sometimes with large firms, but the lawyer fee is greater than the fee you're claiming.
It is
It is their right. Yes.
A right, the right that someone has. All our rights exist in context.
What is the context of a second medical opinion?
Because you disrespected the process.
No.
Jesus, this is common sense, man.
Any situation which you seem to do, you're just dealing with Afro-Guyanese issues. If one, you can't bring and pull the leaders of the African community together, you're failing. And if two, you can't put forward a vision, a blueprint, and a plan for African Guyanese, you're failing as well.
Pleasant Monday evening to you. This is the live call-in edition of the Freddie Kissoon show. There is so much going on, so we should have a packed 1.5 hours. There's so much to say. I guess we can start with Azuddin Muhammad. Leonard Craig is not feeling well, so he would not be here this evening. My number's on the screen, 614-5927. So I'm wearing my patriotic t-shirt. This country belongs to us, and us only, and not to Venezuela. And Venezuela should be taught a lesson if it wants to pick on a small, poor, peaceful country. Something must be psychologically wrong with Maduro to want to pick on Guyana. So I thought this evening I would wear my patriotic t-shirt. As you can see, that's the emblem on it. So normally we have introductory remarks, but as you know, the calls take preference. The number is 614-5927. That's my number. Call me and let's talk about anything that is on your mind. Be sorry for the 10 minutes late. We will have it back. So instead of going at 10, we'll go at 10 minutes past 10. So please call and enlighten us, enlighten Guyana, or give us your opinion on anything under the sun. I don't know if you saw last Monday's evening, but I enunciated my philosophy. I am not going to provide this forum here for any views that justifies what Israel is doing in Gaza. I have my opinion of Mr. Trump. Hello?
Hi, Freddie. Good night.
Good evening.
Two things I want to stress on. I am very glad that Parliament finally convened. I don't know when propaganda is going to start in this country. It's been a tradition that opposition leaders do not get elected on the first day of Parliament. But we see the pandemonium out of Parliament. Secondly, I think the government needs to get very serious. They got to start to look at the local level. Where our people are corrupt, deal with it right away. And as they move on from the bottom to the top, the squeeze will finally tell the nation will start to see progress in corruption. Corruption is the answer that is eating out this nation. The government needs to start now. You have corrupt officers, you have corrupt NDC officers. Move them. Do not sit and wait. That is my point. Do not wait. Start to clean it from the bottom goes up, and you will have an effect. People are suffering at the local level for justice and fair play. And if we can't handle it at the bottom, how will we handle it up? We are seeing it becoming a chronic in the society. Everybody, touch and go, give me a little piece, I surrender my principle. That is happening in society. We need to start somewhere. And the government should start at the bottom. They control all these NDCs and so. Start it there, comrade. That's my contribution.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Good. So let me start with my introductory remarks or my preamble or some of the things I want to discuss. But if the call comes in, we have to take the call. So number one, I read that 4 commercial banks will be have started or will be starting this week application for opening an account online. Now, what I don't know, and I'm sorry Craig is not here, and please call me. I have spent 5, 6, 7 years, 8 years in my newspaper column talking. Good evening. Good evening. Hello? Lost that call. Good. I have been writing about the burdensome, horrible oppression of ordinary people by the commercial banks, in which a million hurdles are put in their way that are irrelevant to any laws. And I stayed on this program and quoted what the finance minister said. And you have a dead opposition in this country. No wonder the PNC end up with 12 seats. Nobody took up something that the finance minister said. The man gave the society, gave the opposition, gave civil society, gave people a voice to confront the banks. He said the Anti-Money Laundering Act is an international law that all governments subscribe to. So he doesn't understand why people face these horrible hassles by the bank and they don't face it in other countries. So he was saying something is wrong with the banks in Guyana. I thought that when he said that, he is the minister in charge of the commercial banks. He could tell them, you cannot do this to Guyanese. I am the minister that is concerned with the integrity of financial transactions in Guyana. And I brought up that matter, what the finance minister said, hoping people would pick up on it and say, listen, this is the man in charge of the commercial banks. And he said, people in other countries don't face the hassles that Guyanese face, and all those countries subscribe to the same Anti-Money Laundering Act. But you never see the opposition fighting on behalf of people. Sometimes I wonder if the opposition really care about poor people. No wonder they lost the elections. So, 4 banks are now offering the facility of opening an account online. But guess what? And I'm sorry Craig wasn't here. And if you know, please call in. EMAP, the show is finished. Call in and inform me. The fact that it's online means that you don't have to go to a bank to open an account. Online is a different forum for doing something. But the onerous, horrible, ugly requirements are still there. So in other words, when you go online, they ask you if you're 20 years of age. Have you ever worked? What is your grandparents' occupation before they died? What is your present parents' occupation? If your father is not gainfully occupied, please get a letter from his previous employer to show that he was occupied. So you will now have to scan these documents and they tell you to follow the steps. And then it would say, you can't proceed. Please submit father's occupational history. Now, all I want to know is if the online thing is just another platform, but the hassles remain the same. I have spent an inordinate amount of time in my columns discussing and exposing one of the most infamous asininities in the entire world that occurs in Guyana. And that is what you have to go through when an account is dormant. It has absolutely nothing to do with the Anti-Money Laundering Act. And here is where a country lacks common sense, an entire country, and no one wants to intervene to save the day. Now, a dormant account means that there's no activity in the account. I am not a believer, but for God's sake, how come someone be so imbecilic, moronic, like a jackass, to tell a customer to meet the requirements of the Anti-Money Laundering Act? Good evening. You have to tune down your volume. I'm hearing myself instead of you.
Yeah. Mr. Kissoon.
Yeah.
It said that you asked for TV program. You look like a little stray dog tonight.
Well, you must get those kinds of people. It comes with the world. So you have an account that is dormant. It means no money is moving in the account. How then can you meet the requirement of the Anti-Money Laundering Act when no money movement is occurring in the account? When account becomes dormant, the most commonsensical thing to do is to go into the bank and automatically make it current. That is all you need, because you're not putting any money in the account to raise suspicion. Good evening.
Yeah, good night, Freddie.
Good night.
I have one question to ask, man.
Yeah.
What's the latest with the election fraud 2020, man?
It's postponed to later this month.
Freddie, this thing continue postponed, so it's going to last the next 5 years?
I don't know. It's about 5 years now.
The government claiming that they can't intervene in this matter with these magistrates that dealing with these cases.
No, the government can't intervene, or you could intervene in a court case. The government has no local standi. It's a magistrate the DPP, who sends the prosecutor, and the defense counsel. Government has no say in that.
All these people are saying that this case just prolonging, man.
Well,
All of these people are saying, this matter should have complete already. Who got get sentenced.
I'm listening to you.
The commission of inquiry already proved that there was finger pointing at them over 90%. They indeed go to rig the election. The commission of inquiry alone speaks for itself. And it's all 100 something witnesses here that come forward in this hearing, you know. There's my contribution, Mark, Freddie.
Okay, sir. Thanks a lot for coming through. Bye-bye. Good. So, back to my introductory remarks. So, you can now open an account online. What I don't know, and please call me even after the show is over, because I'm interested in knowing. I was quite busy. Hello?
Good. Take it over. I called you the other night.
Yeah, go on.
You hearing me, Mr. Kissoon?
Yeah, loud and clear, and the viewers are hearing you.
Right. I called you the other day, but you said you was driving. I'm living next to Cambodia restaurant in Horse Selling.
Yeah.
And the main road, the drain is about 4 feet deep. It got only 6 inches is left. It's here stand. It's chopped. It's back fence. It got bushes about 10 feet high. I got garbage, the NDC. I can't put my garbage bin. I put it in bags. I got about 8 bags. Nobody's picking it up. When the rain fall, my whole yard flood. All in neighbor yard flood. I had my garage flood up.
What the NDC doing about it?
I can't call them. I don't know. I ain't even seen the NDC.
But the NDC...
Put it over to you. You could not put it in the air for us.
The NDC has been under so much criticism. The first caller on this program this evening talk about the incompetence of the NDCs, the insensitivity of the NDCs, the corruptibility.
Especially in our selling.
People have.
I'm 76 years of age. I work with various the plant operations manager, the first shrimp plant they ever had. I paid my dues to the government of Guyana. At this stage, I am not supposed to pick up garbage outside and throw it. I get people to pay to clean my back fence and the front at the standstill. I can't afford that now.
So you engaged the NDC?
Yes, we spoke to them. And they said the people will come, but you ain't not seen anybody. The back drain is like the alligator. You got anaconda, it's got the grass is about the bush is about 10 feet high. The drain is here sand and grass and people from the campus were throwing water all inside. Nobody's doing anything. My yard flood, if the rain falls 5 minutes, the yard flood. I feel the yard. Still happening.
There are things about this country that I just don't understand, and I'm getting older. Why that? Why is that so? People been complaining about the NDCs since this program started 3 years ago. When we opened the lines to the public and had the live calling program, the very first one, 3 years ago, more than 3 years ago. It's more than 3 years ago because June was 3 years for this program. People complain about the NDCs. The first call this evening, the very first call was about the NDCs. So I don't.
Okay, all right. I'm glad if you could put it back over again, please.
Yeah, everybody hearing. I don't know.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Kissoon.
Okay.
You're doing a good job.
Bye-bye.
Mr. Craig.
He had he's not feeling well.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so I am going to complete my thing about the banking, and then I'm going to move on to other things. Good evening.
Hi, Mr. Kissoon.
Yes, sir.
Sir, good evening. I just want to ask you what is your take on this? I was reading somewhere that the government or tourists, they want to make Jonestown a tourist attraction. What are your thoughts on that? You think this is a good idea?
Well, I gave my views on that in my column. Of course,
I didn't read it.
Right, you can't read everything I wrote, but it has already started. Someone has got the permit to do tourist trips there. I met the lady in the national park who is arranging that. I do not see anything wrong with that. In fact, I think it is historically and philosophically important to remind people about the destruction of the past and how we could avoid it in the future. There's been just too many horrible things about civilization. We're living in one right now. A country next to another one just go and bomb innocent women, children, doctors, journalists, and kill them. And that's been going on for the past 2 years, what Israel is doing in Gaza. So I think you need to remind people. So you ask me for my take, and I will say we need to remind the world about what happened in Jonestown so we could avoid a repetition. Yeah.
Last question. What was the relationship between Mr. Bonham and Jim Jones? Were they friends or what was? I don't have any idea about that.
I don't know, but I know he got permission from Mr. Bonham government, and the government and the People's Temple seem to have had a good relation. As to the personal friendship, I've never read anything about that. But Mr. Bonham may have known Mr. Jim Jones, and they probably had an understanding about what Jonestown was about.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Have a good night.
Right, so let me conclude the thing about banking. I do not think that when an account is dormant, a customer should have to meet the requirements of the Money Laundering Act because it is not relevant. Money laundering. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right.
We call from Canada.
Okay, sir. Go ahead.
Just want to know the road in Myconi Creek to Pine Ground, Myconi Creek. They was making a road at the right side of the bank, and they leave it halfway when they continue. Is there anything you can help me? Because I'm planting like 400-acre rice land there, and when rain fall, I have issue to bring up my paddy to the mill them.
So I hope somebody's listening here that can deal with it. I just hope so. I don't know anything about it. Thanks for bringing it to the attention of the people of Guyana, the relevant authorities, and the government.
If you can look into me, because I keep on asking everybody, we keep on telling everybody, because I invest like $60 million of rice industry in that era, right?
Yeah. You're a patriotic soul. And you should be respected for that.
Right, and I'm trying to come out to Guyana to live, but the government, like you do the road halfway. We need a road to go up to Pine Ground, Myconi Creek. You know, and to the pump station, so we can bring out our party.
Go online and see what is the email address of the Ministry of Works. They have 2 ministers there.
I go there already. I talk to Minister of Mustafa. I talk to everybody, and nothing get done.
How they could do that? How they could leave the road like that, and
Yeah, they leave it halfway. The money already paid to the construction, $250 million Guyana dollar, and they leave it halfway.
Like, what I would say to you is that keep persistent, keep bothering the two ministers and Minister Zulfikar. Let them give you an explanation.
Well, it's like 3-4 years. I keep on doing that. I'm keeping losing money. I keeping when the rainfall, my camera, my party, I have to end up spending bread through the rivers and all kind of things. So it's costing me more money, and then the prices drop, and you know we get the whole like almost about 50,000 acres of land. People get the problem there.
That is the story of this program 3 years ago. You bring it up.
That's why I watching Freddie show here. I say, get to talk to Freddie, but I don't know if you are Freddie or what. Who I talk speaking to.
I don't know. I don't know what to do. So we provide a platform for people like you, just desperately hoping that the relevant authorities would listen. But
right.
I don't have.
If you can look into for me and talk to somebody and get it done, you know, really appreciate it. I'm living in Canada. I'm investing, but I'm going back and forth every 3 months to Guyana to look after my rights.
Well, you got to be careful and talk to your accountants that if you keep doing that, when you look over your shit. You know how much money you may have been losing?
A lot of people. I keep on donate a lot of money to the government and a lot of things. I'm not getting nowhere. I really need a all-weather road in the creek, man. And this is, this is all rice people. It's all, rice people, planting rice and cattle, farmers people. It's not like,
I had a very good, dedicated, patriotic person who was the head of the Rice Producers Association. But then he was posted as High Commissioner to India, Dharam Kumar, Mr. Siraj.
Yes, I know by him, yeah.
I know tomorrow I could have called Siraj and asked him to, look into that, but Siraj is gone.
If he can help you look into them and tell him to continue road.
He's gone. He's in India. He's in India.
No, but see if you can get any contact and tell him to continue road to go to Pine my Coney Creek, where the pumping station, where the government station is. And so we can, that's what the main right industry there. It's like a 5.8 land people plant there. It will be nice, you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, you take it. Thanks you to take my call.
Okay, and ma'am, and good luck to you, man. Good luck.
Okay, I take care, bye.
Bye. Can somebody look into that man's thing? He's a Canadian, wants to come back in his country, is 1 foot in the country, and that 1 foot has brought $60 million in investment in 400 acres of rice land. And what is important about that is that we have tried to avoid the Dutch disease, in which, the Dutch disease, you get oil and the whole economy is just based on oil. Well, we have avoided that, and we will avoid it because of the vastness of Guyana and the importance of agriculture. So I hope somebody could just look into that. I can't do it. I have to be honest. After this program tonight, I get on with my life. What you need, and I've written in one of my columns to this and appeal to the president, is to have a program like this in which people based in government, in a central government office, could take these calls and operationalize them and pass them on to the relevant authorities that must provide an answer. We've got, since this program began 3 years ago, we probably have dozens and dozens of these calls, and nothing happens. I just don't have the answer. I just wish the fellow well. I want to continue with some of my remarks. I am about to close my anger over the banking system. I hope now that you can open a bank account online. It's just not the same old story where they hassle you when you go in person in the bank, and then online is the same hassle, which means it defeats the purpose of using new technology. Hello.
Hello, good night.
Yes, good evening, sir.
You're on live.
Yeah, it's a live program.
Now it's a dark madness. It's extremely bad.
Pardon me, sir?
Critics.
What are you saying? Hello? I didn't catch that, but when it's a live program, all you can do is get the phone number and call that person back, or publish the phone number and expose what a fool the person is. I really don't have the time to do that. Maybe some other show probably could do that, and it deters the donkeys and the hippopotamus and the absolute fools who have nothing to do with their lives and are a waste to the world. It helps to expose them, but the show goes on, so let me end my take on the banking thing. I repeat, and I hope the government is listening, the Bank of Guyana governor is listening. You should just go into a bank and automatically renew your account if it becomes dormant. It's commonsensical. You're not transacting anything, you're not doing any large banking in it. You were away, or you were sick, or you had matters to attend to, and the account becomes dormant. That has absolutely, and I'm saying absolutely, nothing to do with money laundering. So I hope someone would call in to tell me if all the onerous requirements for opening a bank account have now been removed now that you have online, you can open an account online. I haven't pursued it. I haven't pursued to get the answer, but I know my country. So, the second observation, I was by the seawall this morning, and right at Ivlery, there is the police clearance building, application for police clearance, and every day there's so many people there. It's a very long wait. And do you know how important the police clearance is? I had to get a police clearance for my daughter. I had to get a police clearance for my niece, meaning I had to take them for something very important in their lives. You need a job, and you would not get it to keep your existence going and your family's existence going if you don't have a police clearance. Your employer is going to give you a job. You're going to get a monthly salary. You're going to provide for yourself and your family. But you have to produce a police clearance. And if it is such an important document, why do people have to wait so many hours to get it? I was a columnist for the Kaicho News for 30 years. And I can tell you this, if you did, that man who owns that place, Glenlal, if you tell him you're going to collect or going to apply for a police clearance, or you're going to NIS, and you stay 2 hours after and you come back, Glenlal will deduct money from your salary. People don't know what it is like to be a working person, and you go to Good evening.
Good night to you, Mr. Kissoon.
Yes, I'm doing all right.
2 quick points for tonight's program. The first, national unity and reconciliation has always excited the mind of a small percentage of Guyanese, a small percentage comparative to our population. However, despite it's a small percentage that have put in their bid for the purpose and the attainment of national unity and reconciliation, others need to join in. What do I mean about this? Every single year, the University of Guyana, Guyana's cornerstone and principal educational institution, exits about 1,500, sometimes 2,500 men and women of academia every single year, from the time the first convocation began to date in 2025. Let's keep that in mind. There's a university in America refers to as the Johns Hopkins University. During COVID-19, they would have conducted many case studies in the medical field, case studies in the chemistry field, and they would have published their findings, men and women of academia from a university. Even though Guyana is a younger state than the United States of America, the University of Guyana needs to draw a page from Johns Hopkins and other accredited universities across the globe. I believe, and especially the Department of History, the Faculty of Social Sciences as well, need to play a much more vital role in the process of national unity and reconciliation. A president alone with a slogan, a genuine slogan I must say, or one Guyana slogan, a president alone and 25 cabinet members and even 65 members of parliament cannot attain national unity and reconciliation on their own. Every year, these men and women of academia need to join in the task of nation molding right in the papers. Go on Facebook, go on TikTok, go on YouTube. Help the past men and women of caliber and cadre, yourself included, that would have played a major role. Help the men and women of the past take up this work. But sad to say, this young generation seems not much inclined to speak about it. But I must say a good coming out of this young generation. This young generation, you cannot infiltrate their minds with racism that easily. They have a mind of their own, even though they may not speak about it, and even though they may not highlight it that much. The last point I wish to make, because there are other callers that would like to call in. I won't call names out of respect for you, and I know that you have a policy on the program not to blaspheme anyone. But I know by giving the verbatim and using a few metaphoric expressions, the audience will know the person I'm speaking about. There's a learned individual, a man of academia. He's been around for a very long time. And he has lectured at various universities, but most of the time he stays overseas. Comes to Guyana quite often. He was inducted into Guyana's parliament today. Most of the time, when this gentleman hosts his podcast, whatever the name is, always he's adorned in one cultural outfit, an African outfit. In the background, if persons are observant, you wouldn't see Chelly Jagan's photograph. You wouldn't see Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi's photograph. You wouldn't see Nehru. You wouldn't even see Arthur Chung's photograph or any Japanese or Asian freedom fighter. Always you see an African liberalist or an African freedom fighter alone. It tells me that man's generic is focused on one ethnicity alone. Comparative to President Ali, when it's the African Cultural Day, he's adorned in the African outfit. When it's the Indian Cultural Day, he's adorned in the Indian cultural outfit. The Chinese, the Portuguese, etc. The true statesman, and this is the point in closing, the true statesman who is a loyalist to a nation has to take in account that Guyana is a country and a society of 6 ethnicities trying to mold themselves into a brigade of a people of unity. And so therefore, that is why Guyanese are wise, and that is why Guyanese have already premeditated who they will support towards national unity. Thank you for the time, Professor Kissoon.
Okay, sir. Thanks very much.
Yeah. All right.
Well, the gentleman didn't want to say who he was talking about, but obviously it's David Hines. And I do a daily column in the Chronicle, and I will be writing about David Hines tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm writing about David Hines. So just consult the Chronicle and you'll see what I will say about David Hines. He was in conversation with Vincent Alexander. And it is so sad that Vincent Alexander is 74 years of age. Good evening.
Hi, good night, sir. Do you know who was the first speaker of the National Assembly?
Honestly, I could get that if I was home. I have books at my fingertips, but could you tell me, do you know?
No, I was looking at it, but I couldn't find it on Google. So whenever you know.
Yeah, there are many history books that would have that. And it's right at my fingertips where in my study where I work, but I don't think I can remember that when the first speaker of the National Assembly before independence or after?
No, when Adi Chang was the president, there was a speaker of the National Assembly, right?
Yeah, I can't. To get those things, I normally go into the history books, but out of my head, no, I don't know. I hope somebody listening would call in and give us the name.
Okay, so I love history, but I was looking at Google, but couldn't find it.
No, I am. Okay, so that's it. Good. I don't know who was the first speaker of the National Assembly. That will have to be even before independence. And he didn't say whether it was independence or after independence. But no, I can't remember that person's name, and it's easy to get based on the books that I have home. You could probably easily get it on Chedi Jagan's autobiography, The Western Trial. So the gentleman called in and made reference to David Hines, and I don't think I can agree with him when he said at the back of David Hines, when he uses podcast, African heroes. If David Hines feels strongly that he should promulgate and show his viewers African heroes, I don't see anything essentially wrong with that. What I see wrong is David Hines' reason for existence is that all he talks about is the expansion of the space for African Guyanese, and that space must be at the expense of other ethnicities. I mean, the best example I can give out is when an Indian parliamentarian from the PNC rejected what an African woman was saying about Indian people, disparaging remarks. He said, don't push your mouth in black people business. Which meaning he said that there's so much unpalatable things about race that David Hines have said that he's responsible for the low amount of seats. I think he's one of the persons responsible for the low amount of seats that the PNC got. And I don't think that the PNC should have put him in parliament, but the PNC seems to have lost its way, and it's dying. There are people who are just so outrageous that the society has banished them, and those people are deeply, extensively, culturally, politically associated with the PNC. So people, when they say these things, people blame the PNC, and you have to blame the PNC because the PNC should say, you should not speak to us like that. Let me give you an example of let me give you an insight of what is coming up in my Chronicle column tomorrow. I saw David Hines and Vincent Alexander in a discussion. And what Vincent Alexander said to David Hines, and David Hines said, good evening. Hello?
Freddie Kissoon?
Yes, sir.
How are you, sir?
I'm all right.
Yeah, I'm all about these magistrates and judges. When they're wrong, when they do wrong, when they're wrong, who is responsible for them?
Well, you could only discipline or dismiss a magistrate or a judge if you make a complaint to the Judicial Service Commission, and the Judicial Service Commission has to decide whether what you said should be looked into or they just dismiss it. I made several complaints about several magistrates and judges and never hear back anything about it. So
That's real thing. Because look, for instance, Mohammed, Azadin Mohammed, $150,000. If I go for a trap, nothing more than that, I would go on bail. You understand what I mean?
well, I'm listening to you.
Because it is not fair that somebody go for some drugs thing, and then make a split for whatever. He got on 500,000 bail, and Mohammed told he could go on a 150 bail. It's supposed to be at least $1 million bail for a matter like that. All right, but
Okay, sir.
thanks a lot, sir.
Okay, sir. Hope to hear you next Monday.
Yeah.
Good. So let's hear from you. The program started with calls, and we're still getting the calls, and some of them very interested. A guy called and talked about the obsession of David Hines with only one ethnicity in Guyana. A guy just called to say, what are the avenues for complaining against a state judicial official, meaning judges, magistrates. So I was telling you about my Chronicle column tomorrow, in which Vincent Alexander sat down with David Hines and said the most atrocious, unbelievable deception designed to deceive African Guyanese. And let me tell you what Vincent Alexander said. And I have the election results at my fingertips. I'm listening to him, and I have my library right next to me there. Vincent Alexander said that in the 2025 elections, there was it was just like all the elections gone by in Guyanese history. There was ethnic voting. People voted on the basis of ethnicity. So it was no different from other elections. And the thing about it is that what that man is saying is equivalent of saying, no, there isn't a country named Barbados. Barbados and Trinidad are one country. No, you don't really have a president in the United States named Trump. The vice president is really the president. It's as outrageous as that. It's outrageous as saying the UN building is not really in New York, it's in Minnesota. I mean, that is like saying it. What Vincent Alexander said is as crazy as that. A party headed by a wealthy Indian businessman who looks Indian, has an Indian name, Azuddin Imtiaz Muhammad, whose sister is Indian and is the main person behind the Win Party, was the campaign manager. 109,000 voters, of which 98% of those voters were African Guyanese, in African areas like Linden, like Georgetown, where African people live. In the totality of Guyana, an Indian businessman who's a practicing Muslim man got 109,000 votes, and most of the votes came from where African people live. And Vincent Alexander, just Google it. Just go on YouTube and put Vincent Alexander and David Hines in discussion. So he said the 2025 election was just like all the elections gone by. People voted along ethnic lines. When 109,000... Good evening.
Hello?
Yes, hello, sir. Good evening. You're on the air? Go ahead.
Hi, Freddie. Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Great. Thank you for accommodating me and answering the phone. You know, I just want to make two little comments here. One, I want to talk about the current bombing that it had in Regent Street. You know, it's a shame that the law enforcement did not come out. The police commissioner, I'm very ashamed of him and shame on him for not coming out on that very night, that very moment, to give a press briefing to the public and to those Guyanese living in the diaspora to say what happened, and at least they were investigating the matter. And then when they had the briefing, he was sitting there, his posture alone brought concern to thousands of people in the nation and in the diaspora that he doesn't care one damn thing because it's not his child. And so their press conference was so poor that you who were listening on the internet could have hardly hear what they said. I think they need to develop it. Secondly, how can they, knowing that Venezuela and Guyana is at odds, and allowing somebody to come in that country and to perform such a heinous, horrible act by taking one child life? One is too many to be taken. Guyana is such a small country that don't need this. And I'm hoping that this would never happen again, and the entire government will come forward and overhaul the entire immigration system and ensure that we have border patrol, because what is happening and what we, the diaspora, is seeing and people in the country seeing is that people are coming in from all angles, all walks of life, and they're getting permits, they're getting cards, they're allowed to work. They're not vetting these people. We don't know who is coming into this country. For all you know, the person could be a serial killer, and they're coming in, get an ID card with no vet, no process, and they're allowed to work. And what what about if this person had planted that bomb in a place like Border Market or the Big Market or in the Tower Hotel or at the Pegasus Hotel or at the Bank of Guyana or one of these big insurance companies or in the mall? How many thousands of lives would have been lost? When are we as a nation is going to open our eyes and see that Guyana is not a third world country anymore, it's a first world country, and therefore we're going to expect these attacks from every side, and we have to be more alert as a nation. And I'm hoping that with this new parliament that's open today, this will be a top agenda, the security and the safety of the nation, because one life is too many to be lost. That is what I want to talk about.
But don't go off yet. I could understand how you feel about a Spanish-speaking person from Venezuela putting a bomb there. But I don't want us to go down the road, the tragic road this world has gone down, with Mr. Trump banning visas from countries that are Muslim countries. Look, there are thousands of hard-working Venezuelans in this country, and they have done just what other Guyanese have done. At one time, a Barbadian minister by the name of Thompson rounded up illegal Guyanese and deported them. You sound like a Guyanese, but you have an accent. So I'm assuming that you're a Guyanese in a foreign land. We cannot blame Venezuelans if a Venezuelan man committed a crime. Once you go down that road, Muslim people that look like Indians or look like Arabs are going to be stereotyped. You can't do that. It's just wrong to pick on Venezuelans because a Venezuelan guy was caught trying to commit mass murder in Guyana. It's just wrong to pick on a Muslim person in the street because a Muslim man put a bomb somewhere. These things happen all the time. I mean, it's wrong to pick on Jews and say people should not talk to Jews because of what Israel is doing in Gaza. You have to contextualize these things and make sure that you save humanity when you're condemning these heinous acts. I understand the way you feel, but don't go down the road, that road of stereotyping our entire race.
I listen to you, and I want to make this very crystal clear as I can be. This has absolutely nothing to do with one's religion or one ethnicity or one country that they come from. As I said to you early on, there are people from all walks of life that are coming to Guyana, and these people need to be vetted like any other country in the world. Let's say, for instance, if you go to the United Kingdom, you have to be vetted. They have to run fingerprints. They have to know from whence you are coming. We want to be a compassionate nation. We want to reach out to people who are illegal. We want to help our neighbors. We want to be a friendly neighbor on the other side. We want to make sure that our people and our country are first. Because if we as a nation continue to let everybody inside there, then what would happen? The people have to be vetted, and that is what I'm talking about. You just don't have a boatload or a plane load or 10 persons coming to the country from wherever they're coming from, not because of their religion, not because of their ethnicity, not because of their color. We have to vet each and every person and make sure that these persons are cleared before they can enter the country, because we cannot take people at face value. In this world that we live in today, face value doesn't work anymore. We have to go and vet these people, and that's what I'm hoping, that this new parliament, they'll overhaul the whole this whole immigration process, and make sure that when people come to Guyana, yes, we want intelligent people, yes, we want foreign investors, yes, we want people to come and to build a country, we want the best of the best. On the other hand, we have to make sure that we know who we're taking in, because if we don't know who we're taking in, we're going to have chaos in the entire country. And so that is what I'm really referring to. I'm not referring to one's religion, or I'm not referring to one's ethnicity, or I'm not really referring to where one may have come from. What I'm referring to is that the vetting process, and that's all I'm saying.
Okay. Thanks for coming through. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
I heard that caller, but... Good evening. Hello? I'm not hearing you. I'm hearing the previous caller, because you have to turn down your volume. Hello? Good. Lost track of what I was saying before the caller called about. Good evening.
Freddie?
Yes, sir.
Good evening. You still on the program?
Yeah, you're still in the program and people are hearing you. Thousands of people.
Okay, Freddie. Freddie, it's an unfair situation for one set of people in this country. Let me tell you, for instance, I got a property in Georgia, I got a property in the country. Freddie, when I go up there, the amount, when I tell you unfair, I'm talking about GPL. right? There's only certain set of people at GPL Hondong to do disconnection and all kind of nonsense. When I go up in the country, two sides of my neighbors got electricity that is stealing electricity. And all night they will play music, all night. And the police will do nothing. And GPL can't go and do nothing to them people. Same thing in Georgetown here. People are stealing electricity. And GPL pay no heed to that. One set of people that are hunting down. One set of people only hunting down. It's unfair, it's unfair. That's the reason why I did not vote for the PVP, you know. That's the reason why I did not vote for the PVP. Right? Because it's one of blind eye and corruption. Blind eye to turn corruption. Okay, Freddie, that's my contribution.
Okay, sir. Thanks for coming through.
Yeah.
Good. 38 minutes past 9, we go to 10 o'clock. We'll go extra 10 minutes. Good evening.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Good night. Good night.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. You're on the air and everybody's listening to you.
Okay. How everything? Everything okay?
I try in this life. I'm getting on in age and I try.
Oh, so how critics?
How is critic?
Yeah.
You want to make a contribution to the program, sir?
Yeah.
Well, what is your contribution?
I want to contribute to shave a big so critics can shave out here.
Sir, tell me something. You have nothing to do. You're a lost soul. Do you have children? I hope you don't have children. And so I'm cutting you off now. I hope you don't have children.
Do you have?
That's the problem. These jackasses, you can't. All you could do is cut them off. Of course, you cut them off, so you stop them from further showing that. What a big. Anyway. Good evening.
Good night, Freddie. How you doing?
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I just want something else I want to keep speaking about. I know you when you used to write the picture, you had an article on it. Yellow journalism is something that need some focus on.
Good. The number's on the screen, 614-5927. It is 40 minutes past 9. We go up to 10 minutes past 10 o'clock. Let's call in and hear what you have to say. While the calls are not coming in, I will have my little say. A few calls came in and I didn't get to continue on what Vincent Alexander said. Vincent Alexander said, and you know this is designed to fool one set of people, African Guyanese. The man set out. Good evening. You got to tune down your volume. I'm hearing myself and not you. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, good evening, Freddie. I'm calling. I have a concern on the East Coast, the lower East Coast. Let me say from Allendale go as far back to Ogle as it relates to traffic in the morning.
Everybody's complaining about that.
No, but what I'm saying, it makes no sense for you to get functional traffic light. The traffic light, they're functioning okay, and then you get a police directing traffic. That is what causing the build-up of traffic every morning. So what I was recommending is let they do like an assessment
to see, well, ease off some morning directing the traffic and see how it will go, and then you compare that with when the traffic is being endured by the police stopping the vehicle at the traffic light. Because people are losing a lot of time. It took me over 1 hour from like Friendship on the East Coast to go to Graham's all this morning, and many other mornings as well. Similarly, on the roundabout as well. It makes no sense for you get a roundabout. The government spend all this money making roundabout, and then you get police directing traffic. I passed by the roundabout at Eccles there, and if you see the build-up of traffic, and it was after 9 this morning, I don't see the reason why, as I was saying, approach all they need to do, like educate the public, like how you're advertising other things on the TV, radio, wherever, social media. And let them pay attention to the 5 C's, and you pay attention to the vehicle coming on your right. And it will go from there, because many people they still don't know how to use a roundabout, and then the police know at the roundabout causing also that chaos. Because nobody respect time. Another thing, Freddie, coming back, talking about this member of parliament thing. I think there should be an age limit to when that's the first time you're gonna sit in parliament. Like how everybody retired 55 with government. I think politicians should have age limit. When you reach a certain age, for the first time, you cannot be a member of parliament going into parliament for the first time when you reach a certain age. I think they should do that. Similarly, it should go to the age of a president as well. Just like how everybody gets a time when they have to retire, you must not get a president at the age of 75. The voters list also should have the same thing, and that will help cleaning the voters list, because I was saying on your 85th birthday and over you cannot vote, right? So automatically those persons who are 85 years and over, they will come off of the list. I don't know if the authority is going to listen to me, but there is one way of assisting in cleaning the voters list, because many people have died, who are over 85 or so. If they want to bring it down, more low, it's going to be better. Maybe 80 years, you must not vote. And they will help clean the voters list. So, let the youth around the country, anybody over certain age, you cannot vote, and you cannot be a member of parliament for the first time to go in parliament and sit down. Anyway, that is my contribution. Have a good night.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Good. 9:45. We've got a good 25 minutes more. We stopped at 10 and then we were late. We take back the 10 minutes for being late, give you back your time. So let's go on this quiet Monday evening. Monday evenings are always quiet when I'm driving home. After the program, it's always a quiet evening. So let's talk about anything that is bothering you, any suggestion you have. Never mind our opinion may be a skewed one or a wrong one. You have the right to opinion. Of course, we have people who... Good evening.
Mr. Kissoon, good evening again.
Yes, sir.
One other quick point. The government of Guyana is a liberal government, and I noticed that caller attributed just now to the traffic congestion that is building up all across the nation. That congestion, will just be for a time. As we continue to map out Guyana's infrastructural impasse, we will see a reduction in the traffic buildup. We will receive broader roads, perhaps eventually flyovers, and then you will see a huge reduction in the buildup of traffic. However, at the moment, Guyanese can help to
appease the traffic situation. One tactic that they can use: leave earlier for home. Do route planning is a next option. For example, in route planning, let's say if you're using a route every day in central Georgetown, or like one of the arteries that takes you off the main highways, and you notice that particular artery is always clogged up, try using another artery, try using another route. Once it takes you to the same destination, that is a route planning, because you know at 7 o'clock there's a build up there. Oh, instead I will come through Prince William Street, Pleasance, and then I will take the railway embankment. The government is committed towards the expansion of roads, so Guyanese can help themselves not to be in traffic. If you notice, in India, Africa, and China, three larger countries and continent than Guyana with a larger population, the principal mode of transportation, and it even offers us taxi services, is the motorcycle. In India, you have motorcycles with shed, and people commute on that. So what you would find, those motorcycle drivers will be able to meander through traffic instead of being in a traffic build-up like a four-wheel vehicle. So Guyanese need to be creative as well. In Georgetown, when you park your car, another way, you hardly see Guyanese commute to the pedal cycle. When I was a little boy, it was the pedal cycles that clerical people were using. That's another alternative. Commute in Georgetown with a pedal cycle to get your errands done. You lock your pedal cycle at work. You drive home in the afternoon with your car, and in so doing you save on fuel. Finally, the government can also help, even though we appreciate everything that they're doing. The government perhaps can also help to institute what I call, this may not go down favorable amongst Guyanese, and it may not be a popular route, but it's a workable route. Put a closure on certain classes of vehicles for the next 3 to 4 years until we have broader roads, like put a cap on the importation of cars and the importation of motor lorries. But for other classes of vehicles, you will have the importation of motorcycles, etc., etc. That's another thing to consider, but that's the final contribution for the night. And once again, thank you for the time.
Okay, sir. Hope to hear from you next Monday. That's a suggestion about traffic regulation, and also an appeal that there is inconvenience on the roadways and the highways, but in the future it will be much better when those projects are finished. So they say some of those projects, of course, take too long, and no one can deny that, because the government has bemoaned the slackness of many contractors and companies doing infrastructural work. I go to the national park every day, quite often, and Thomas Road, where Camp Guyana is, has been cut off between Vicindian Road and Camp Street. I think it's called Camp Road. Camp Road is a continuation of Camp Street. So Thomas Road. Good evening.
Thomas Road.
Yes, good evening, sir. Or madam. Lost that person tried to lower their volume, and I think they cut off the call. Yeah, I think the road, Thomas Road, where Camp Guyana is located, I think it needs to be finished now. It's been going on a long time. I think every Guyanese know that in the next 5-10 years, this country is going to be very, very, very nice to travel on. And you've seen it already. I went to Perica with my wife Sunday. It was good to travel up New Eccles Highway, and then you catch the bridge from there. But some of those projects need to finish on time, even if they run over time, not very long. I wish the I wish the widening of Thomas Road between Albert Street and Vicinjon Road, I wish that thing could be completed now. It's been going on a long time, and it saves you the discomfort of having to wait a long time at Lamaha and Vicinjon Road and Wolford Avenue, where there's so many schools. You just turn into Thomas Road and you've gone to the western part of Georgetown. But the guy, I guess, has a point that these things are inconvenient, but it's for the future. So I'm not getting to finish my thing on David Hines. The caller called and really lamented the constant racial preaching, constant racially biased adumbrations of David Hines, who have now gone into Parliament. So I was describing what Vincent Alexander told David Hines, and David Hines was nodding, that the 2025 election was no different from any other election. And why that is so sickening and psychologically unacceptable is that you're fooling people. This 2025 election was different from all other elections. It was the most racially crossover voting than any election in the history of British Guyana and Guyana. So, 109,000 African voters voted for an Indian party headed by a Muslim Indian man. The PPP got 1,000 more votes from African Guyanese in Region 10. The PPP got thousands of more votes, the PPP, than the last time. There was serious cross-racial crossover voting that resulted in an Indian man, Azuddin Mohammed, and his party getting 109,000 votes. This guy Vincent Alexander just sat down with David Hines and said, well, this election was no different from other elections. So if 109,000 African people voted for a Muslim practicing Muslim man with a Muslim name who is an Indian man, how could that not be? He's not a Portuguese. He's not a German. He's a genetic East Indian. And he was there for 3 months campaigning. And he had his family with him. The man is not a mixed guy of mixed race. He's not a guy of mixed race as a Christian. He's a practicing Muslim East Indian. And he got 109,000 votes after just forming a party for 3 months. And those votes came from the African section of Guyana. Now, whether you like win or not, once you are an academic, once you get those qualifications in sociology, in political theory, in economics, you have to be guided by your research. I have no appreciation for Azuddin Mohammed. I would like to see him extradited to the United States. It wasn't me, it was a Starbuck News that said in an editorial his name is associated with the killing of Mr. Fagundas outside of Palm Court one evening. It's all over the news that Mr. Mohammed was shooting from Friendship East Bank across the river and a little boy got killed. I can't go further, but the incident I know about Mr. Muhammad at Land of Canaan. I don't want Mr. Muhammad to sue me. So I don't really care for Mr. Muhammad. I don't think his party is going to survive after he's extradited. That extradition may take a longer time through the court process because it may end up to the CCJ. But I feel there's a case against Mr. Muhammad. And I feel Mr. Muhammad is an unacceptable person in politics. But I am a trained academic. I have to look at statistics. Statistically, there are more people. Statistically, there are less people of 80 years of age in Guyana than people 25 years of age. That is something you can't hide. That is a statistical fact. It is a statistical fact that Trinidad has the highest crime rate in the CARICOM family. If you were Trinidadian, you could love your country how much you want. If you're educated, then that education should teach you how to respect statistics and facts. Statistically, in Guyana, in the 2025 elections, 109,000 people voted for an Indian man named Azzuddin Muhammad. And of that 109,000, 95% of it, maybe 98, came from African Guyanese. And the votes show that they came from African Guyanese, where African Guyanese live. Wynne didn't do anything in Port Morant. In Lenora, Lenora is where the president come from, and he had a landslide. So you know who voted for whom. And Vincent Alexander just ignored over 100,000 African Guyanese voting for this Indian man and said there was no cross-racial voting. The 2025 elections was just like any other elections. And that is what I picked up from that, because there was a caller that called and said that, made reference to Vincent Alexander. And I believe that Alexander set out to fool African Guyanese. And that is what I think was so insulting to African Guyanese, that they rejected the PNC in 2025. You can't get up on the TV, you can't get up in a podcast and say things to people that are so ignorant, that are so incredibly untrue, and they're looking at you, and you have to feel disgusted with them and say, why is he saying this? I'll give you an example about an AFC man named Vincent Adams. He was with the AFC when the AFC was in government, and he was head of the Environmental Protection Agency. He has since gone back to the United States. I'm listening to this man, and I said, these people are so stupid. Who they think would believe them? Who would believe you if you say that, no man, Brian Lara, he was not really a good batsman? People are going to laugh at you, the guy's a genius. Who's going to believe you when you say, you know, man, Chris Gayle was really a fluke as a 2020 cricketer? People are going to laugh at you. He was a 2020 cricketing genius. So people are going to laugh at you when you go in front of the television set or the podcast or Facebook and say the most appallingly ugly things to them. So this guy, Vincent Adams, said that he was surprised that Wynne got so many seats, so many votes in Linden, and he said double the votes the PNC got. He said the PNC got 5,000 votes, Wynne got 10,000, and the PPP got 4,000, which is 1,000 more than they got the last time. And then he said, but you know that 1,000 votes may not be, you know where they come from, you know where that come from, you know, given what the PPP did the last time. Now, how could you speak to people like that and expect them to respect you and your party? And if you're associated with the opposition, then the opposition is going to lose credibility. If there is an election supervised by GCOM in Region 10, and you said in that election you were surprised Azzuddin Mohammed got 10,000 votes, double the PNC, and you went on to describe how popular Azzuddin Mohammed was in Linden. And he said he was surprised the PNC only got 5,000 votes. And then he said that the 1,000 more votes the PPP got, well, you don't know if that is real or what. But how could that happen in an election? That the PPP's 1,000 votes are not real? How, by what configuration people in Linden voted? Give Wynne 10,000, give the PNC 5,000, but that extra 1,000 the PPP got from the last election, now something wrong with it. You don't know if they got 1,000. So how was the election rigged then? And what strategy and how did it play out that in Linden the election was conducted in such a way that Azzuddin Mohammed got 10,000 votes, Aubrey Norton got 5,000 votes, but that 1,000 votes with the PPP was not really above votes. How is that possible? What kind of skullduggery went on? No, that's the kind of things that people, politicians from the opposition get up and talk, and no wonder the PNC lost the election so badly, because when people listen to Vincent Adams, Vincent Alexander, David Hines, they feel insulted. You see the kind of people that follow Azzuddin Mohammed are not East Indians. The African Guyanese who voted for him. How could you say then that the 2025 election you still had ethnic voting? If I ask my operator to put on the screen Azzuddin Mohammed, you would look and see he's East Indian. So if an African voted for that man, they left their African-based party and voted for an Indian man. How could that not be cross-racial voting? But that's the kind of opposition you have in Guyana. I mean, it's so unfortunate that people like Vincent Alexander, David Hines, and the rest of them just got people so turned off that the PNC vote went right down. So we gotta go. It's time to go. I will count to, I normally count to 10. We have a couple of minutes more to go. So call, the number is 614-5927. We had a full house of calls, and now we're winding down. There are a couple of things I wanted to talk about, and I got sidetracked. The phone calls take priority. But I wanted to talk about Azzuddin Mohammed. I wanted to talk about the bombing at the gas station. Now, I have said in my column on Saturday that there is no way, when you look at the shape of that operation, that came from the intelligence / military / security service of any nation. It would not be so amateurish. It means, therefore, that bomb that was planted in that gas station had a local intellectual author. Someone wanted the gas station in its entirety to be blown up so Guyana could be destabilized. And I am saying there was no country that planned that attack and sent one of the operatives to do it. It was just simply too amateurish. Not even a private security firm would do something like that. The man came, go to put a bag. He's a foreigner in the first place. He go to put the thing by a local attendant. She chased him. He went away, then he's gone in West Coast, hanging around. I mean, you must know that is very, very amateurish. So that is what I wanted to talk about, and I believe that the operatives behind that bombing in that gas station was designed to destabilize Guyana, and I don't think it came from any other government. I think it had a local dimensions to it. That was one of the things I wanted to talk about, and I'm glad we're winding down now. I'm glad I get a chance to push it in, and I will conclude, if there are no calls coming, with my take, as I said before, on Azzuddin Mohammed. The laws of the country allowed him to be a politician, allowed him to become a member of parliament, but I think Azzuddin Mohammed and his past history and his past behavior and his past business behavior do not augur well for Guyana, and I think that the sooner he is removed from the political cloth or the political house of Guyana, it will be better for all of us. Now, time has caught up with us. I will count from 1 to 10, and if there are no calls between 1 to 10, then I will see you on Wednesday when we have another edition of the Freddie Kissoon Show. So I'm counting now from 1 to 10, and if there are no calls, then that's it. Monday night program has come to an end. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's it. Our program have come to an end. If there's a call coming in, I won't be able to take it because our operators have to go. So on behalf of our operators, thanks for being with us this Monday evening. Leonard Craig isn't well, but he should be here on Wednesday, I hope. Hope he recovers on Wednesday. We will see you on Wednesday. We will see you on Friday. Next Monday is the call-in. Take care on the roads. Have a very pleasant rest of Monday evening. And I hope life brings you the best in the days, weeks, and years to come. We come into this world to help each other. There is no other reason that we came into this world for, to protect ourselves, to preserve ourselves, to give ourselves happiness, but we do not do that at the expense of others. Thanks for being with us. We will see you on Wednesday. As I normally say, catch you later. Bye-bye.